Welcome to Master Your Retirement with MRS. Melissa Matson has been helping families in Las Vegas plan for a successful retirement. The team at MRS Wealth Advisors will help you learn about strategies for creating income in retirement, managing your wealth, and minimizing taxes. Welcome to Master Your Retirement with MRS.
Outliving your savings seems to be one of the top fears for retirees today, and for good reason. With skyrocketing healthcare costs, increasing taxes, and the never-ending risk of stock market volatility, it's no wonder why many retirees feel overwhelmed. But Melissa Matson is here today to share some of the top strategies to help you find confidence in retirement. Welcome to Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors. I'm Amy Sharp, and Melissa is here with me once again. It is always great to be with you. We have a very important topic today because we know no two retirements will be exactly alike. There are some basic principles, though, right, Melissa, that we can kind of hone in on today in our show to kind of give our viewers, any retiree, that confidence that you need to go into retirement. It's so important.
It's so important, Amy. And like you said, there's no two clients that are exactly the same. And when there's no two clients that have the same goals, no two retirements look the same. Everyone's journey is different, but there are a few fundamentals that are very important to make sure that you have those guardrails put in so that you're planning for a long life. You're planning for a 25 to 30-year retirement, right? You're making informed decisions about your Social Security. As we talked about earlier, there's over 567 ways to draw your Social Security, but the timing of when you take your Social Security is very, very important. So understand what difference that can make on your retirement and understanding the income that you need, because having that strong foundation of income that's increasing income is also going to just be successful for you. We need to make sure that we are planning for inflation risk, because we can talk about the 100-year average, but we don't have control over legislative risk and all the choices that are being made. So we need to plan for that. Also, because we're living longer, we're probably going to have healthcare costs involved. As we've said before, over 70% of folks that reach the age of 65 they have a 70% chance of needing healthcare, an opportunity for some kind of long-term care help, right? And taxes. Taxes can erode your retirement savings if you don't have a plan for some balance in your taxable versus tax-free money. So you just need to be well diversified. If you have this well diversified portfolio, the types of assets that are in your portfolio, the income needs that you need, that's what we do, is we help people make a plan so that they can actually look forward and say, we have confidence that we have enough. And unfortunately, if we have to work 3 more years, at least you have the answers to that too. Mathematically testing your nest egg.
It sounds like you mentioned longevity, and it sounds like all of these factors can play into that. We are living longer. Why do we need to have that plan in place so that our money potentially lives as long as we do, or does live as long as we do?
Well, because, I mean, it's wonderful to say early retirement and is going to be great, but we spend the most money when we first retire, and then it may taper off a bit in our mid-retirement years. But if we do make it past into those no-go years where life really slows down, typically one of you, if you're a married couple, is going to pass away first, and the other one is going to need some help, because not both of you are going to be able to help each other at the same time. Typically, one person ends up being the caregiver, and the person left behind needs to pay for care to help them get through those later years.
And that's all part of that planning. And I know when you sit down with your clients, your potential clients at MRS Wealth Advisors, you are having this, again, specific conversation with each person. It's so important to have that plan to lower the risk of running out of money, so that we aren't going to get to the end and be like, we don't have money even for long-term care.
Oh, yes. And really looking at the statistics and just the people that we serve, the number one concern is outliving their money, because you never know the unknown, just all of the unknowns that can come into your life. It could be a health emergency. It could just be an accident, like falling down, breaking your hip. And it's not so much that Medicare isn't going to cover your bill. It's the fact that who's going to take care of you when you come home? Who's going to cook your meals? Who's going to care for you? Who's going to do the grocery shopping? Because most people want to stay home. So making sure that you are reducing taxes whenever you can, making sure that you have a withdrawal strategy so that you have enough income coming in to cover your expenses, making sure that's going to last over the next 25 plus 30 years.
Did we ever imagine that confidence would be so important in our lives? You know, we talk about when we're younger, but we really need it as we go into retirement as well, don't we?
Absolutely, because worrying, well, let's face it, it just shrinks your life. It doesn't prolong your life. So we don't want to go into retirement guessing or worrying that we have enough, or when are we going to go get our next job. So having that confidence that you have a plan in place, it's solid, we're doing the best we can, and we have, you know, we can't plan for everybody, for everything, but we can do our very best at having a solid plan.
Melissa, thank you so much. Coming up, Melissa helps you tackle some of the biggest risks to your retirement. And later in Master Plan Minute, you've probably heard us talk on this show about risk tolerance, but how is that different from your risk capacity? Master your retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors continues after this.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow, so you can enjoy your retirement today.
And I'm back with Melissa Matson. Today, Melissa's sharing some of the top strategies for pursuing retirement confidence. Doesn't that sound great? You know, there's no retirement without income, and it's something everyone will need, all of us. So, Melissa, how are you approaching this with your team at MRS Wealth Advisors? That discussion of income, the paycheck's no longer coming in the mail.
Right.
Goodness knows we would love for it to continue, but we do have to start creating our own income. What does that look like in order to kind of give each one of your clients the confidence that we're focusing on today?
Yeah, very good question. You know, when we sit down with potential prospects or even our own clients, you know, it's important to have a good handle on the overall situation, because once you retire, you want to know, do we want the same type of lifestyle that we had while we were working? Do we want to downsize? Downsize, or do we want our dream home? Do we want a second home? What kind of a lifestyle do we want? So knowing exactly what we're looking for in retirement helps us to have that base plan, set that budget, you know, in form moving forward, so that you can predetermine the lifestyle that you're looking for. And then if you want to stay active, maybe you want a part-time job. Maybe you don't want to completely, you know, exit out of the workforce. You want to one foot in because you enjoy what you do. You want to keep your mind, you know, active, and you don't want to slow down too much. But it just depends on what's important to you. And there's a big difference between having an estate plan and having legacy goals. Some people have done very well and they're concerned for their children and their legacy, and they want to make sure that what they are leaving behind, that their loved ones are going to be the largest beneficiaries of their assets rather than Uncle Sam. Back to that. So having a plan in place, addressing your goals and desires and income needs, just having a discussion, often just sitting down with our team, we can lay out a plan that gives ideas, adjust it, some strategies in place, because this is what we do every single day.
Let's go a little deeper into the tax piece of it. How do you talk to your clients about being tax efficient with that income in retirement? That's a whole nother element for each client.
Absolutely. Taxes are, there again, going to be one of your biggest expenses in retirement if, like 80% of the people that walk through our doors, their biggest part of their savings is their pre-tax bucket. So you may want to consider, it would be best if it's before your required minimum distribution age, maybe it makes sense to do some Roth conversions, creating some balance between your pre-tax money and your tax-free money so that you have a strategy to offset those income needs or those unexpected income needs. You can actually draw from your tax-free bucket rather than your taxable bucket, which would cause an increase in your overall tax consequence, perhaps your Social Security being taxed, and having Medicare, IRMA premiums being increased. There are so many different variables that you really don't have control of in your retirement years that you do have control over when in your accumulation years. So just having a plan for that, it would make a big difference. And also, back to leaving a legacy plan. Do you want to leave the Secure Act that changed everything in the distribution law? Do you want to leave behind a pre-tax bucket that is required to be distributed over a 10-year period, therefore causing your heirs to have to, have a bracket creep or pay a very high amount of taxes on your hard-earned money? Or do you want to create some tax efficiency for your heirs so that they can have a bit of a balance? Because remember, the Secure Act, that IRA has got to be emptied after the 10th year. If it's in a Roth IRA, most people think that it can go on forever because there's no required minimum distribution. But the law says the Roth IRA has to be emptied 9 years, 364 days. You just don't have to take distributions within that 10-year period. So there's lots of different nuances that we can share and give some insight that's very, very valuable for the future generations to come.
We've been using words like confidence and control a lot in the show today. Are you finding that it's hard to imagine with all the information that's out there right now, but are you finding that people are just absolutely overlooking taxes when it comes to retirement and planning for their income?
Well, overlooking taxes for retirement, I think most people think, hey, my income's going to be lower because I'm not going to have that big paycheck coming in. I won't be contributing to my account. So since my income is lower, I'm not going to have a tax problem. But in actuality, it's the opposite because there's all these other rules on the retirement accounts. And, like we said, Medicare, Social Security, the required minimum distributions, those we really don't have any control over. We have to pay attention to those federal income brackets. So if you don't enjoy paying taxes today, once you retire and once you get into that phase of your life, if you haven't created some tax efficiency as of that phase, you probably are going to overpay. And we talk about it all the time. Most people are unanimously in agreement that taxes are soon to go up. We know that the Tax Cut and Jobs Act is sunsetting January 1st, 2026. If that happens or not, we're not really sure. It's scheduled to, but we also need to make a plan for, while we can, move some of that money into tax-free status so that you can maintain some control.
Okay, great information. Thank you so much. Straight ahead, we'll dive into diversification to help you address risk. You've probably heard about risk tolerance, but how is that different from your risk capacity? That's next in Master Plan Minute, and still to come, Melissa answers some of your most pressing retirement questions. You're watching Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
In today's Master Plan Minute, Melissa helps us understand how much risk we can stomach versus how much risk we can afford. Melissa?
Thank you. You know, risk tolerance versus capacity. Our risk tolerance basically means how much can you emotionally handle the ups and downs of your portfolio. I mean, if you're spending your time away, stopping, watching TVs, whether you're on a bike ride or whether you're on a cruise in the middle of the ocean, you're paying attention to if the market swings, the ups and the downs. That's just part of life. If you're not comfortable with that kind of risk and you can't stomach it, maybe your tolerance for too much risk is not appropriate for you. Your risk capacity basically means, can you afford to lose 10, 15% in your retirement years? A lot of people can, and they don't worry about it. Let me give you an example. I had a client visit a handful of years ago, and she came in, she'd been in retirement for about 4 years. When she originally retired, was very conservative. Everything was sitting in the money market. Over $1 million. She was watching the market go up and up and up every single year. She did actually buy a CD during COVID, and that was at 3.5%. But when she finally decided, I'm ready for a plan, she came in and was so embarrassed that she'd been missing out on all of these returns and said, I really need a plan. I know I do. I'm just afraid to make a decision. So we basically mapped out her concerns, mapped out how much she was going to need in order to spend, and we created a solid income plan, one that we knew she would be able to afford to create this income through using a conservative guaranteed approach like a pension annuity, and that was with a portion of her money. Then we were able to allow her portfolio to have the freedom with a portion that she was going to have some risk in the market, some equity exposure, so that it would actually grow. And yes, it may go up and it may go down, but if she isn't taking actual withdrawals monthly, it has the opportunity for growth. So your plan, her plan was as conservative as she wanted it, but yet she had some equity exposure instead of being afraid or fearful of what her plan was going to look like if it went down with the market. So that's what we do at MRS Wealth Advisors. We actually take a look at your situation and make sure that you're taking on enough risk so that you can keep up with inflation, but not so much risk that you don't have the income that you desire. Back to you, Amy.
Thanks, Melissa. Have a question about retirement? Don't go anywhere. Melissa has the answers coming up in our Q&A segment. Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors continues right after this.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
You probably have questions about retirement, and the good news is Melissa is back with us. She's ready to answer some of them. So are you ready for this?
You bet.
Okay, our first question is from Mitch in Southern Highlands. I just inherited some land from my grandfather. I'm not sure if I should hang on to it for now or go ahead and sell it and invest the money to put toward my retirement savings. What do I want to consider before I make a decision?
Hey, Mitch, that's a great question. Well, as far as your land goes, depending on what type of land it is, you could just hold on to it and you could wait and it will appreciate, hopefully, wherever the land is, I'm not sure. Or if you were to sell the property, since you did just inherit it, you did get a step up in cost basis. Therefore, if you were to sell it and make a little bit of profit, it wouldn't be a taxable event at this time. But let's say you held on to that land and 10 years from now, the cost of the land doubled in value. You would have to, if you then sold it, you would have to pay taxes, capital gains tax on the profit of the sale. So you really have to weigh the difference. Does it make more sense, depending on what type of land it is, does it make more sense for you to sell it, not pay any tax, put the money in the market, and then be in a capital gains situation again? Or does it make more sense for the land to just sit and hoping that it will go back up in value? So looking at your entire picture and weighing it out, maybe you want to sell a portion of the land, depending on how much land you had. This may be a good opportunity for you to diversify so you can make an educated decision.
Okay, here we go from Sharon in Henderson. We're working on our retirement homework. We have more than $2 million for retirement. So how much of that might we want to budget for healthcare and long-term care? They're really forward thinking, and I think that's what most of us need to be doing, right? We need to think about not those trips necessarily, but healthcare and long-term care possibilities.
Oh my goodness, yes. I think that is great that you're thinking hard and thinking forward with your retirement. But I tell you what, Sharon, when you are allocating chunks of money towards healthcare costs are one of the most expensive rising industries in America. And I had a client who actually bought long-term care in the year 2000, and she ended up going into care in 2013, but back in 2000, those policies, long-term care policies, had $1 million cap. No kidding. Dear Dolores went into care, and 11 years into her policy, she did go into long-term care. She got her benefit for 11 years, very expensive. She died a month after her $1 million cap expired. So she knew she wanted her money's worth, but that policy, mathematically speaking, that policy cost her $78,000. So that isn't always how the story works out. You can't even buy long-term care with $1 million cap, but there are very great opportunities out there in the marketplace, in the insurance industry, that are not the old-term or old-fashioned long-term care policies, but there's annuities that have home health care doublers. There's life insurance that has long-term death. You can use a death benefit for a long-term care benefit. So long-term care insurance has gone a long way. So just taking a piece of your portfolio and saying, hey, between two of us, we might want to earmark $1 million. Well, that's really not the way we would encourage you to do that. We would encourage you to pay some premiums or, invest a portion to have a larger benefit at the end.
Okay, great answer. Here's one from Jim in Green Valley. Will my wife get my Social Security check on top of hers if I die first?
No, Jim, she won't. At the time of death, the spouse gets to make a choice. Which Social Security do I keep? You only get to keep one. Generally, it's the higher of the two is the one that we would recommend keeping.
Okay, all right. And here is another one from Tammy in Las Vegas. Tammy asks, I've heard about Roth conversions, but I earn too much to have a Roth account. Are there other options I could consider?
Well, again, Tammy, a contribution Roth is different than a Roth conversion. So you are able to, it doesn't matter your income, you are able to do a Roth conversion at any income level. The thing is you're going to have to pay some tax. So making sure that you're not causing too big of a bracket bump so that you're not overpaying in taxes is really important to make an educated decision. We have a fantastic Roth calculator that we can actually help you determine if it makes sense for you while you're still working or not. So if you want to come in and sit down with one of us at MRS, we're happy to do that calculation and you'll know, but it has nothing to do with income when it comes to do with conversions. That's only Roth contributions.
All of these questions, great questions, but they all kind of go back to coming in and meeting with your team. And that's just an invitation we always extend here on the show because so many of these take a little more conversation, a few more details, things like that. But your team's always ready to help.
Absolutely. And that's what we love to do. There's like we said, there's no two families that have the same amount of income, the same amount of assets, and the goals are always different. Some people want their last check to bounce and other people want to leave a legacy plan behind. So knowing what's important to the client, helping them build their financial house so it will last, they can have the peace of mind and enjoy their retirement.
I love that financial house analogy. That is a good one. All right, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. If you want to learn ways to help generate lifetime income, potentially reduce your tax bill, and maintain your lifestyle in retirement, reach out now. Melissa and the team are ready to help you start building a retirement plan designed to help you flourish in retirement. For Melissa and the team at MRS Wealth Advisors, I'm Amy Sharp. We look forward to seeing you next time on Master Your Retirement with MRS Wealth Advisors.